This is Ben, it is Virgin Radio Drive Time, and I am delighted to say that John Power, a man who has a fairly busy week this week, is on the show. Nice to see you, John.
Hi Ben, how are you doing? All right?
I'm all right. This is my first week of doing the Drive Time show, and it's been sort of like a crazy week. But then I sort of look at you and go, no, there's a man with a busier week than me.
Well, yeah, it's all relative, isn't it? You know, this is a full-on week. Yeah.
How are you feeling?
I'm just about now getting excited. I mean, the thing is, the way I live my life and look at things is I kind of just take each day as it comes and not try and look too far ahead. But there's no doubt about it now that, you know, Friday is upon us nearly. And the first chord of this tour is going to be one that I hit. So it's quite it's going to be quite a moment, I think. You know, Cardiff Principality Stadium, like opening for Oasis, it's going to be amazing.
We all kind of knew this was going to happen. I think we all knew. We hoped it was going to happen, and now you're right. We're just sort of hours away, and I think sometimes then it's the closer we get that it becomes more and more daunting. But you've had an incredible career. You continue to make some wonderful music, and I'm delighted to say you're going to be doing a show here on Virgin Radio as well called John Power's Power Hour. Right, we blame Mick for coming up.
Yeah, I was going to say your title, not mine. Like, you know, I'm just going to be presenting it and playing some tunes. That's correct. Yeah.
What's the stick? What's the pitch?
Well,
for that show?
At the moment, I'm just coming in every week, and I'm going to be playing like songs from the 90s, from the so-called Britpop era. And having a little kind of, you know, talk about certain things. You know, I'll have a little monologue or a bit of a ramble, probably all to do with like music and my sort of experiences and that, you know, whilst obviously playing lots of good music from the period of the 90s, like, yeah.
It's exciting because I was saying to you just before we came on the air, as much as it's about nostalgia and looking back, it's also very much looking forward. And, you know, you had a great album that came out in 2024. You're still writing and recording new stuff, so the fans will get some of that as well. But let's go back to the 1990s. I remember I first heard your music through the walls. We had a tiny little house as kids growing up, and my brother and I had very thin walls between, and he would play All Change, and I remember hearing the debut record from Cast and thinking that's a hell of a lot better than the guff that I am listening to. You'd come out of the Lars and you'd started this new band. What was the objective for Cast, and how is it going to be different to what you were doing with the Lars?
I mean, Cast kind of just appeared on the horizon, really. When I was in the Lars, I had no intention of leaving the Lars whatsoever. I was beginning to write new material for myself and for the band, what I thought. And, you know, circumstances sometimes dictate. And as the Lars became apparent to me that, like, you know, maybe, you know, the ship has not ran its course. It's just that I was writing some songs, and I just realised, and like an epiphany, that if I don't kind of finish these songs, if I don't sing these songs, then if I don't nurture them, then no one's going to ever really hear them. And, you know, so Cast, actually, the whole idea of it came from the final word. You know, I used to stand on stage, and the final word of a song called Looking Glass, where the Lars used to play, which is an epic, amazing track, used to be, the change is cast, the changes, and I used to be standing there, and this would be swirling around, reverberating around the auditorium, and I just kind of went, right, the change is cast, and so that's where I got the name from. And then the whole idea about Cast was just about, you know, I had All Right and Fine Time, Sandstorm. You know, I was working on Walk Away and Tell It Like It Is, and lots of all that album, really. You know, they weren't fully finished. One or two were, and so that was the idea, really. It was just for me to become a songwriter, I guess. And then, obviously, sometimes you're making up things as you go, really. The concept. I mean, I wasn't quite sure who was going to be in. I didn't have the band members. I just had some of the songs, the name, and a real kind of driven dream. I really felt that was what I was going to do and what I needed to do, you know, and it's led me all the way through. It's been a long career and still is, as you said.
You were talking about striking that first chord of the Oasis show come Friday, but when you were striking the chords of those songs that would become this debut from Cast, you must have known that there was something special in those songs, and not just for your new band that you were going to create, but for the moment, for the time, right?
Yeah.
They sort of bookend this wonderful chapter, and the word Britpop never sits particularly comfortable with me either. But it did bookend this period without you really knowing it, right?
Well, that's the kind of magic of timing and songs and eras. You know, I mean, you can't really sort of predetermine that. You know, I mean, I had the songs. I mean, I was a young kid, really, and so you know, you're not looking. All I knew is I had something very special. I knew the songs were great because I'd been playing them in the Lars, a couple of them. I just had that feeling, you know. I think as a songwriter, and especially, you know, me being in the band with Lee, who was like, you know, I would say the most like gifted songwriter of a generation, you get to kind of know a little bit whether a song is feeling good or whether it isn't, and then it's all about instinct. And so, you know, the bar was raised quite high from the first time I started. I mean, All Right was a song that I was singing actually in the Lars. You know, the Lars used to perform that. So, I mean, that was where I was gauging everything. You know, it's got to be this good, at least, you know.
Well, let's play that now on the show. This is Cast. This is All Right on Virgin Radio Drive Time. Cast and All Right, I am delighted to say that John Power is here, who will be supporting Oasis come Friday at that first show, and then right the way through the run as well.
Yeah,
and you're doing some of the North American dates too.
We are. We're doing 23 shows altogether.
Wow.
We're doing 19 shows in Britain and Ireland. And then we go over the States and we do 2 in New Jersey and 2 in LA. And then we do a couple of other shows in America.
And you know what the reaction from the crowd will be like to these songs because, well, you saw the reaction when Liam did his tour most recently, a couple of years ago, I guess.
Definitely.
And then, of course, you saw Nebworth as well.
Oh, God, yeah. I mean, you know, the funny thing is, you know, I mean, anyone who knows me, I'm not really a networker. I'm kind of a bit of a sociable recluse, really. I mean,
you and me both, right? Look where we work. We sit in a room and we talk to ourselves.
Yeah, of course, yeah. But it's, you know, when I bump into people, I always kind of, I can be quite chatty, I can be quite friendly, but I'm quite happy in my own company as well. But Oasis and Cast, there's been you know, we've meandered our career right from the very, very beginning. I mean, the reason we got signed was because I blagged my way into a show with the demo. I ended up with Noel and Liam in the dressing rooms. I played them the demos. They loved it and said, do you want a show? Do you want to open for us? And this was like 31, 32 years, whatever, you know, ago. And we played. There was an A&R man there who's seen us. So that's where it all started. And even before that, there's a story or two. But what I mean is from the moment Cast appeared on the scene, you know, we did Avon Beach, we did Loch Lomond, Nebworth, we used to play in Paris. You know, we've always had that sort of connection. And whenever I've seen Noel or whenever I've seen Liam, it's always been very easy. And there's a kind of real respect, you know, kind of from songwriter to songwriter, from singer to singer, and from sort of northern soul rock and rollers, you know, for each other.
What I find amazing about the Nebworth show, and I remember listening to Noel talking about this, is the period of time between Noel taking his last signing on check and then the band playing Nebworth is like, it's months. It's like 18, 20 months, something ridiculous.
I mean,
right? That couldn't happen these days.
I think it is insane, the effect that Oasis had, you know. I mean, there isn't many bands. I mean, in fact, I can't think of any. It's certainly like post-Beatles, you know, who've had that surge. I mean, absolute, like, kind of anthems. And where people sing along, you know, it evokes that energy. There's something, you know, about Noel and Liam and the band that just kind of, you know, I mean, they just, as I always say, they kick the door down.
It's magic. It's magic.
I mean, it is definitely magic. It's going to be more than memorable. It's going to be kind of emotional, I think, when they come on stage together. I mean, I think when Noel plays the intro to one of those great songs before Liam even starts singing, you're going to know the difference between, you know, even when Liam's done it with his band in the past, which has always been great, but there's going to be something special, you know, some sort of static electricity that's going to just kick off.
I saw Liam Gallagher, I think, at the Isle of Wight Festival, and I think he might have opened up with Live Forever, which was breathtaking, right? But this time, his brother's going to be standing next to him.
And you can't... See, the thing is, we can all play riffs and chords and songs, you know, whether it's a Stones song, a Beatles song. What I mean is we all learn from that great sort of, you know, array of beautiful songs, inspiring songs. But no one can play it like the guy who wrote it. Nobody can play it like the guy who came up with the riff. And that, you know, so that's going to be special, like, no doubt about it.
What I love about you is I can feel the enthusiasm coming off you. You're a music fan. I think you would be there, right, front row, even if you were buying a ticket, right, let alone playing there.
Oasis, I mean, you know, as I said, there's many levels that I dig Oasis. I dig them because I think Noel and Liam have got a great energy together. They've got it separately. I dig them because, you know, from the Laws, I know, you know a great band when you meet them or when you hear them. And when I was in the Laws, we thought we were the best thing, you know. We were. And it's, I mean, you keep that, but there's a respect. I mean, the songs, as I said, it hits you on different levels. You know, I've got history, my whole career. You know, Oasis were there pretty much all the way. So, yeah, it just feels like, you know, like we're part of that massive kind of wave of British pop, British rock, whatever you know, whether it was indie rock, whatever you want to call it, Britpop, or indeed, you know.
So you got to go because you got a lot to do this week.
I've got a lot to
you've
do,
You've got your show on Virgin Radio Saturday from 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
We're calling it the Power Hour, and it's just going to be a sort of mix of Britpop anthems and songs that you love. And will we hear some of the recent stuff from Cast as well? I mean, you're allowed to play some of your own music, right?
We have got a new song coming out, Poison Vine. It's going to be out in about a week or so.
Give it a cheeky play.
Well, I'm definitely going to give it a play in the coming weeks. And we've also got, obviously, the madness of it all is we've recorded a new album that's coming out, like, probably early next year, and it's called Yeah, Yeah, Yeah. So we haven't stopped for the last 2 years. We had Love Is the Call. That kind of kick-started our sort of renaissance. That's how we got on the Definitely Maybe tour with Liam, because he heard it. And I've got a feeling ever since from the momentum, we've just carried on with them waves. So, yeah, it's taken me, you know, right from Love Is the Call, right to the Yeah, 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 from Liam to Noel to the Oasis tour, going back to the States for the first time in 28 years. You know, I'm in here talking to you on Virgin. I've even got a bloody show. I've even got a show this Saturday.
Well, I've got this strange tattoo on my arm that says what goes around comes around, and I'm a firm believer of it, and I'm delighted to have you in front of me. Your music means the world to me. I know it certainly means the world to my brother, who is a tree surgeon in the New Forest and is sort of giddy today knowing that you are. Fantastic. Which is a good place to be a tree surgeon in the New Forest,
trees,
right?
I walk past the trees every day, right, and I found them so inspiring. I still speak out loud and say, like, you know those trees, they just grow out the ground, you know.
Yeah, well, he can tell you the Latin. He's that kind of guy that will tell you the actual name of them. But
fantastic.
Can you choose for us your favourite Oasis song? And please, you know, it doesn't have to be the obvious ones. Like, what song are you hoping is going to be on the set list? What could we play on the show?
Cigarettes and Alcohol is amazing. I mean, Live Forever. But I always love Acquiesce as well.
Yes. I was so hoping you were going to say
I do love that song. I mean, there's something about the melody that I really dig. And then, you know, the way it's sung, the delivery, and then obviously the kind of sentiments, you know, the two, Noel singing the chorus, Liam singing the verse. And when I first heard that, I was on tour in Europe somewhere, and I really blew me away. Like, so I've got not a soft spot. I've got a real kind of love for that track. Yeah.
I cannot wait to hear your show on Saturday. And John, thank you for popping in.
Oh, thank you. Ben.
Good luck on Friday as well.
Oh, it's going to be. You know what? I think that, you know, look, it's beyond that now.